All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone. Hey, appreciate you taking some time this afternoon. And as I like to always remind myself and acknowledge, I greatly appreciate what you guys do. Every time I see you, I always like to thank you. And I know how much work you put in, hours and everything else to cover the Wolfpack. And I just want to thank you on behalf of our coaches and our student athletes. It means a ton. It means a ton for what you guys do. So thank you all. I'm happy, thrilled to introduce our new softball coach, our new head softball coach today. We did an exhaustive search. I mean, we talked to everyone that I could find in the softball world, including former Nevada coaches, some of the all-time greats, and obviously people in the deeply involved in the softball world, head coaches, administrators, all around the country to find the best coach we could get to take over and to lead our program. I met with our players when Coach Taylor announced he was leaving, and I told our players this same thing, and I'm just so proud of what they've done the last couple of years in building the program, the success they've had on and off the field. I mean, they have a 3.3 team GPA, just remarkable young women, and oh, by the way, they're winning on the field too. And I told our team that we were so close this year, maybe 3/4 of the way, maybe 80% of the way through the season. We were like one game out of first place. And, unfortunately, we went on a road trip that knocked us out of contention or out of that race for the conference championship. We ended up finishing third behind Fresno and UNLV, but we swept UNLV, which is always nice. But we were so close to being conference champions. And I told the athletes, I told the players that my job was now to go find the coach that could get us to the top. And I truly believe we have found that coach. I truly believe we have found that person that has, obviously the knowledge and skills, the recruiting contacts and connections. But most importantly, what I've been told and what's been shared with me through people or from people in the softball world is Coach Garza is a tremendous person of character, great character, has tons and tons of care and concern for her athletes, runs the program the right way, just has incredible intelligence of the game, of course. But what's been really interesting about this is figuring out and learning that we got the best coach in the Mountain West Conference now. And there's no one in this conference that knows the other coaches or knows the other players as well as Linda Garza. And I am thrilled. President Sandoval and I are thrilled to welcome Coach Garza to the Wolfpack and introduce her as our next head coach for our softball team. Coach Garza, the floor is yours.
I want to thank all of you guys for giving me this opportunity. I feel like I'm back in COVID because we're doing it all Zoom and we've worked so hard to get out of it. So I just really want to thank Doug and the entire administration and President Sandoval for giving me this opportunity. We've had extensive conversations and talked about real things. And, I definitely know there's things out there, and without getting into the details and things like that, I have a passion for what I do and I care about the young women that I coach. And so, I'm excited to meet and get to know every single one of them as well as their families. I want to make sure that we do things the right way. I learned from my Fresno experience, there's things I can be better at. And, definitely on the field that I know how to win ball games. And I know that that's one side of a coin. And there's another area that I've always been really, really good at. My kids and athletes have always been able to graduate with degrees that they want to be in. And they're incredibly strong and bold young women. And so we're going to continue that even here at Nevada. I also, though, want to continue growing as myself and just growing with that relationship with them to be able to have hard conversations, but also have fun conversations, and that vulnerability and being able to be that type of coach. I take great pride in being a female, a leader. And, there's not a lot of us, and there are, and they're not. And, I'm blessed that Doug has given me this opportunity. I went through a rough patch and I didn't know if I was going to be able to, and I'm appreciative of the opportunity to be able to be asked, tell me what's going on, tell me what you learned, and to be able to do this. I have a passion for what I do. I love absolutely coaching. It was a humbling experience, and I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to do everything very, very with my heart and everything, doing it in the right way. And not that I was ever not, but I'm going to just be very more conscientious of it. And so I'm excited. That campus is stunning. I had no idea. I went to school at UNLV. We'll only say it. I told the other team I'm only going to talk about it one time. That's it. That we're good. And I'm okay with that. I did not go to Fresno State. I just happened to be born in the Valley. And so I've done a lot of stops, and I'm a regional person. And I have a lot of family that is excited to get to Reno and to do things. And so I can't wait to get started. This is an incredible team. I hated playing this team. I hate them. And now I get to be on the outside and everyone gets to hate us. And because they're scrappy, Coach Taylor and his staff did an amazing job of just making a competitive program and doing some amazing things. And so I'm really going to build upon that. I'm not here to change and do, I still got to add my flair and my style, because that's how I know can work in time. We still need to get there, and I need to facilitate the right athletes and go and solicit and bring. But I'm going to tell you, that campus is stunning, and what I've been treated and the support that I've been given and the infrastructure that's going to be being built in the future. We're going to have a ton of success here. And I hope this is not only the first press conference. I hope this is of many. I hope to keep getting a lot of the community involved and out there. And anything that you guys needed me to be involved in, I am absolutely welcome those opportunities, and just to be out there and to give some visibility, not only to just our sport, but for our campus and our university. Any way that I can help, I want to be able to utilize my voice in what I do to be able to be better for this community. So that's kind of where I'm at, but I just want to say I'm thankful for this opportunity. There's some special athletes I just got to know, and amazing parents. And I'm nervous. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say I wasn't, but it's like getting those butterflies. I tell the players, it's like getting the butterflies and get them information. It's okay to have them. It's just get them information. So I have a ton of things that I need to do on my plate, but the first thing that I'm going to do is get to know each and every one of our athletes and let them get to know me and build that relationship. And then eventually I'll get out on the recruiting trail and do that. But I want to get to know them first. My job is to recruit the ones that are going to be there right now. And so I'm going to take advantage and really use this time to do that. So I want to thank all of you guys for this opportunity. And again, Doug and your staff, you've treated me with nothing but respect. And I can't wait to get this thing started.
All right, thank you, Coach. We'll now take questions for Doug and for Coach.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations. My name is Kirsten. I work with Nevada Sportsnet. Welcome to Reno. My question for you is, just with the recent news, you had something come out with altercation with another player. And I want to know, what is your message to the team when they see that as maybe their first impression of you?
I think for everybody, Doug and everybody has known, that, there was something that potentially had happened or anything. It was a unique circumstance with a unique individual. And there were more things that led to that situation. And I have a ton of respect for that individual. And without getting into her details, I really tried to stay away and let each administration do what they need to do. But what I do know is I'm looking forward for this program and these young women to be comfortable and come and talk to me, and to understand that I'm fiery and I'm tough, and there's moments that I definitely can still be better. And I understand that. So.
For Doug, I guess, what was the vetting process in looking into that incident? You have a player saying that Coach Garza grabbed her by the jersey, yelled at her, and slammed her against a dugout wall. I know you've said that you want to put the student athlete at the top of your pyramid and make them first. I guess, what process did you go through to make yourself and the department comfortable that this hire is best for your student?
Yeah, that's a great question, Chris. Thank you. And this is obviously ties to Kirsten's question as well. We talked to everyone we could in and around the Fresno program. We talked to the folks at the highest levels of university administration. I talked to the athletic director. We've talked to other people around Fresno softball that know Coach Garza. And everyone I talked to said the same thing, that this is not, this one incident was one situation, not her normal character, not anything that's ever happened before. She has this incredibly long track record of success, of care and concern for her athletes, great relationships with athletes. And this is sort of a one moment that sort of flared up, and one moment that happened. And everyone I've talked to says it's just been like the consensus, the unanimous thought is tough situation, intense moment, intense athlete, intense coach. And it was a one-time thing that happened. And I think what I've learned about Coach Garza, and again, other people around her and other people that know her well have said the same thing, is that it was a learning opportunity. And Coach Garza is a person that's committed to learning and getting better and growing. And this was a learning opportunity. So I don't think that type of thing will ever happen. I don't think that'll happen again. Coach Garza and I have talked a lot about it. And I feel totally confident that our players are going to love playing for Coach Garza.
You mentioned you talked to a lot of people. Did you speak with Caitlin Jennings, the athlete who was involved in the incident?
I did not.
Do you think you should have? Could you have gleaned information from that? I mean, it's one thing to talk to other administrators, and Caitlin in her social media posts said that she has suffered depression and anxiety, and it has impacted her life. Why was it not important to speak with the person involved in that situation as somebody who cares about the student athlete experience?
I mean, it's sort of, I don't know how to answer that the right way, Chris. Out of respect for the student athlete, I mean, I'm not going to dig up what's happened in the past. I know what's happened, and I've heard from people that were there. I've heard from people that were obviously involved in the situation, and I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what played out. And I think I have enough information to make the decisions I made.
For Coach Garza, we obviously don't want this whole press conference to be on this one topic, but I think it is pertinent. I'm sure you saw this social media post from Caitlin Jennings. Was that an accurate appraisal of that situation in your eyes?
I think, Chris, out of respect to the student athlete, respect to the situation, that administration and all of us, we did our due diligence there and did what we needed to do. I didn't coach another game. I'm no longer at Fresno State, and we parted ways and we went our way with it. So out of respect, I'm not one of those that tries to drag any player, through anything or any sort of situation. And, it's a unique situation, unique individual. And, I definitely learned from that situation. And I wish nothing but the best, not only for her and not only for that university and that program, but for everybody. We all have moments that we need to be better, and we can be better. And so it's one of those things that I definitely have learned from. And there's more that led up to that, and there's more behind it. But without getting into it, I think out of respect to her and out of respect of everything, that's one thing that I've always done in this process, been respectful to the student athlete and those that were involved.
Your record on the field obviously speaks for itself, and the amount of success that you've had as a head softball coach. For Nevada Wolfpack softball fans, how would you describe the kind of team you hope to put on the field at Hickson Park?
If you've seen them play, they can swing. They've done an incredible job of being able to always be in games and put a lot of runs across the board. I feel like that's something that has always been here. It's also conditioned to the ballpark in some things in playing in a conference where the ball flies. Coach did a great job of building something like that. So I'm going to put some attention to detail in some of our defensive things, into some pitching and doing some different tactics there, potentially even some hard defensive shifts and getting where we can get a ton of accuracy from pitchers, and we pitch to situations. And so that's going to be the creativity of it. It's also going to be utilizing, a lot of my groundwork is in recruiting. My base stays the exact same, and there's not a player that I don't think that I can ever get. When I walked on that campus, I realized I can sell this, and I'm not selling somebody something that isn't there. And that's incredible. I didn't recognize or realize that. I just go to the facility as a coach, and I finally got to step on campus, and it's gorgeous and stunning. And so with young females, it's being able to, and just young athletes, being able to give them that college experience and give them an area where people believe in them. I'm going to get into that. And first, we have a team that can be successful. There's some areas that we need to get better at, and we got to finish games, start games, do those things a little bit better, take care of the ball a little bit. Those are all things that I'm good at, and it's definitely a process. I'm not going to promise anything overnight, but I definitely know that my track record is we'll get it done, and we're going to find a way to get it done while I'm here.
Coach, earlier in your opening statement, you had mentioned your flair and style. How would you describe those two aspects specifically?
Oh man, I was a fiery player. And when I say fiery, I'm a fist pumper. You do something successful, I want to give high fives and do things like that. I want to celebrate it. When we struggle, we're definitely, I am going to put people in position. I'm small, if you guys probably can't see it in here, but I'm only 5 feet tall. I'm not the biggest person out there. So my fire and passion is I'm young spirited in terms of I was the youngest in a family. And so I fought my way through in terms of like just fighting to be a good athlete. And so I'm going to ask my athletes to kind of compete at practice and to compete on the field and to compete and do things in the classroom and professionally. And so when I say that, for me, it's just, I love this game. When something great happens from it, there's some emotions sometimes that come with that. And when things sometimes don't go our way, I think there's sometimes some emotions that come with that. And I think they're all okay. It's just making sure that we manage them in a way that we're not having these extremes. And that's why I think there's some things that I can be better at and helping even others manage those extremes as well. Because as student athletes, they as well go through them. Just as us coaches. So we're all continuously still growing. And when you get into that circle, you want to do a lot of things and a lot of things really well. And when they don't happen and you spend some time on them, it can be disappointing sometimes for a lot of young women. So we're working through those emotions because they have a platform of success, especially this name, image, likeness to be really great. And so they're chasing this perfection and we can't always accomplish it. So it's learning how to balance all of those things.
I mean, Fresno State was the standard of the Mountain West in large part because of your coaching. Do you feel like the infrastructure is in place at Nevada for the Wolfpack to become the standard of the Mountain West in softball, or where would you need upgrades to be able to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, we've already talked about some infrastructures for hitting and things like that, just to be able to train in the winter and be able to have some facilities there. I think that's always going to be important. That's what separates places that don't have indoor facilities. They have the weather that can do it. Fresno's has set the standard sometimes for facilities, and it's just going to be a hard place to chase. But if you guys have seen it, it took me 5 years in order to put us in a position that we actually won it. Aside from the COVID year, it's anybody's ball game. And like I said, who they're recruiting is going to, and when I say that is in the conferences, who are people recruiting? Who can make sure they know what type of coach that they are and know their own style. We have a lot of first-time head coaches or young head coaches in the league now. I think everybody has now announced their coaches, and we have a few veterans in there. And when you're a veteran, the beauty is you know what you are and you know what you're not, you know what you're good at, you know what you're not good at. And your job is to go and hire and facilitate that in terms of recruits and people you hire. So I have no doubt in my mind that we're going to be successful here. And the goal is always to get back, for us, is to get back into the NCAA tournament. That we would love to have a conference title to do that. But if that's an at-large berth, then we'll do it the at-large way.
I know you had recruited at least one person from this area, Sanini from Bishop Minogue, Coach Taylor, and before him, Coach Michael, and even Coach Michelle Smith. I mean, a lot of recruits from the area. What are just your thoughts on the local talent at the high school level in Northern Nevada and trying to keep those players home?
I don't think it's been tapped into it as well. And I don't think that's anything other than, I've shared this on my interview process, is you got to start when they're young. The 6-year-olds have to get out to a ball game, and the first athlete that they need to be able to see playing softball has got to be a Wolfpack player. Or if you're in Southern Nevada, it needs to be a Rebel. And the reason I say that is because you see so many things on TV, but they're not touchable. And so right now we're not battling anybody else. So if you want to see an actual college softball game played at a very competitive level, we got to get them into our communities and get them to come and see us at that young age so that they can see that style of play and then create those connections at that age to be able to kind of grow through the program and be able to get through it. That's where I think it always starts. And then building relationships locally with any of the athletes that sometimes they don't even stay in Nevada and play travel ball or play club AAU within their towns. They venture out into Southern California or Northern California. And we're not saying that they can't, but my beauty is being able to recognize who those are and being able to realize that they can be super successful in their hometown. I think there's something special about it. And I really don't know if we've highlighted it enough, but I definitely am open to making sure that if we have a chance to get the best in the state, I want them to know that we want them.
There's obviously been success in this program. I mean, when Coach Gardner started it or restarted it, I mean, they were in the NCAA tournament, pretty immediately and had some really, really strong teams. What was it about this opportunity that excites you the most to make it your next career stop?
I think it's still untapped. I feel like, we know what's in the cupboard, but there's still a ton of space to put more things in. And so that's one of the things that I really am drawn to. Two, I was fortunate enough that in my early coaching career, we played against Nevada in regionals at UCLA when I was coaching at Purdue. And just the amount of tenacity and toughness that her and Matt Michael were able to build were incredible. It was fun. And at that moment, you didn't realize that they were a program that had just kind of been resurrected in terms of had been reinstated. And so, it was neat to see. And then there hasn't been a ton of transition since then. And so I know we can get better. And I think the infrastructure of being able to utilize this potential hitting facility and being able to pull from that's going to draw recruits, because that's how our game works, is they want to see something. And then the chances that they're going to be a part of it and they're going to be able to play it. And when players can touch and feel it, it's something special. But I also know that it doesn't always have to stay and be there. Like we can win and find ways to win in different ways without everything. And I think just finding the right athlete that likes a blue collar work ethic and likes a blue collar way and can make it their unique self.
Coach Chris mentioned it, but your track record speaks volume for itself and in your ability to create a winning team. This year, with lots of girls leaving the softball program and graduating, what will you do and say to the new recruits and who have seen this incident to them to reassure that you want them on the team and that it won't happen again?
For them, it was just really going over it and saying and recognizing that there was a lot that led up to things. And, this isn't traditional or normal behavior or anything like that. And so helping them understand that our relationship, our day one is today. And building strong enough relationships. And that's me, building even greater relationships that I already have with student athletes. I've had a ton of student athletes that I've coached who have also reached out and spoken on my behalf of the experiences that they've had while being around me and have having, me coach them. And, I've been invited to plenty of weddings and being a part of their process through graduate school and learning that. And, just the grace and forgiveness and grace and compassion for one another. I'm proud when I have put together young, strong women who are comfortable communicating and expressing themselves. And so, I think that's important. I don't think we should ever negate that somebody has a view and has an opinion and they're attempting to express it and share it. And I also think it comes with responsibility and helping young people understand that, especially with this name, image, likeness that's coming along, that we have we can't sometimes always just say something to say something. We have to be mindful of what is being said. And I don't think that's easy. Sometimes I think some people have to go through that and realize I did write that. I did say that. That's not all of it, or it's missing out, omitting this or that. And I just think it's hard in that responsibility. So I hope to use my experience. I've grown through it. And I hope that nobody has to go through what I went through, but I do understand in coaching's coaching. It's a very unforgiving profession. And I just really, really am blessed to have this opportunity. I look forward to being able to know each and every one of these players. They were amazing on the phone and on Zoom. And I look forward to keep getting to know them one by one. And I would say it literally minute by minute before we step foot on that campus.
I guess for Doug, I mean, now that you've hired a coach that's had a ton of success at the national level, there's no surprise, I guess, that Hickson Park was not completely finished when it was built because of the recession that was going on. What are the plans, I guess, to give Coach Garza as much infrastructural help as possible, to get your stadium, I guess, maybe to a better place? Is there anything in the works to supplement what is at Hickson Park to, I guess, improve that experience for the student athletes and for the coaches?
There is, Chris, and Coach Garza briefly mentioned, I saw you catch that when she said it, but we're not ready to announce it publicly yet. We'll announce that later this summer, but we do have plans in place for a major project at Hickson Park.